Welcome to Church Launch. This is a series of videos at the Pursue God Library that helps pastors, leaders, elders, future group leaders to understand how to launch a discipleship culture in your church. We're going to talk a little bit about how to use the Pursue God Library, how the system works, all of that stuff. But for this first week, we're going to talk more about sort of understanding the philosophy of ministry in a healthy church, and to talk about specifically how you can create a discipleship culture in your own church. Let me tell you what I mean by that. A church with a discipleship culture is a place where every believer shares the responsibility of discipling people. In other words, it's not just something left to the pastors, but every single believer shares the responsibility of discipling people. Now, what we mean by discipling is either taking people who are far from God and introducing them to Jesus, or taking people who know Jesus and helping them to grow in their faith. And so basically, discipling is a lot like pastoring. And so a church with a discipleship culture is a place where every believer is like a pastor. Now, maybe you've heard of churches like this. Maybe you are a church like this. Maybe you've never heard of a church like this. But this is actually the best kind of church that you can have. And here are the benefits. Let's just list some of these out as we get warmed up to talk about this in these next several weeks. The benefits are these. Everyone feels cared for. You know, people don't say anymore, where's the personal touch in our church? As your church grows, everyone still can feel cared for. Also, everyone feels empowered. The average believer shows up and feels empowered to get in the game and to be on the team. People come to Jesus, obviously, in a church that has a great discipleship culture. Disciple making isn't just about taking good Christians and making them great Christians. It's about taking people who are far from God and introducing them to Jesus Christ. And so people come to Jesus. And then naturally the church grows. That's a good thing. And it's more than just growth. It's healthy growth. It's reproducible growth. And then the last thing is leaders don't get burned out. You know, because it's not just all up to one or two pastors or one or two key leaders. Leaders don't get burned out. Everyone's in the game. Everyone's involved. They work as a team. It's awesome. Now, we're going to talk more about this discipleship culture in the next couple of videos. We're going to take a look at the Bible and how the Bible shows us that this is how church is supposed to work. We're going to look at that, and we're going to by way of introduction, we're going to cover some ground in Scripture. But before we get into that, let's get warmed up. Hopefully, you're meeting as a pastoral team, as an elder team, as maybe a bunch of future group leaders at your church, whatever it is. On a scale of 1 to 10, why don't you talk about this? How would you rate the discipleship culture at your church? How much of this is reality in your own church? Why don't you talk about that to get warmed up, and then we'll see you in the next video.